Hi everyone. Okay, we are doing another video in my series of celebrity beauty secrets. Today we're going to do Selena Gomez. So I've done a lot of these in the past. I'll pop up some thumbnails of some recent ones I've done. But if you want to check out some more of these, they're one of my favorite videos to do. I will link the playlist because you can kind of pick through, watch the ones you're interested in. But this is one that Selena Gomez, let me see, it actually came out 2 years ago. She did it with Vogue, and she was sharing her kind of like day to night makeup routine. She shares a little bit of skincare as well, and I'm going to try, I think I have every single product she mentions, but we're not just going to try the products she mentions, but we're also going to try some of the techniques. That's kind of the whole idea behind these videos. It's been a minute since I've done one, so I'm really excited, and yeah, let's dive right in. So one thing to note, and I almost didn't do this video for that reason, was she uses a lot of her makeup line, Rare Beauty, which there's stuff from the brand I really like and stuff I don't, but I just figured, you know, I've been wanting to do Selena Gomez, and out of the ones that were available, this was the one that I thought was the most interesting. Just know that there's gonna be a lot of Rare Beauty. She does use some other brands' products too. So first thing she talks about is cleaning her face, but then she talks about moisturizer.
As for moisturizer, I love the Tatcha, the Dewy Skincare line. And it's so thick and yummy that you actually don't have to use that much of it.
So I happen to have this. This is actually one of my favorite skincare products. This is a new one. I've gone through probably 3 of these. I love it, and she's right. You really don't need a lot. And she mentions that she has kind of combo skin, like oily and dry, depending on the part of her face. And she uses a very little amount. I'm using a little bit more just because, I don't know, I want a little bit more, especially like it's kind of cold out. We've got the heat on in our house, so I feel like my skin needs a little more moisture. But this stuff is just so lovely. It doesn't pill up under makeup. So I was excited to see that she was using this because it, like I said, it's one of my absolute favorites. This is one, if you can save money, like when it's on sale. Tatcha has a lot of sales on their site. Depending on when you're seeing this, the Sephora sale might still be going on. I'm trying to think of when I'm making this video live, maybe not. But anyway, definitely wait, see if you can get it on sale, but I love this stuff.
The Drunk Elephant sunscreen. I like to put sunscreen on because not only is it important to keep your skin looking fresh, but I have lupus, so being in the sun is, you know, kind of difficult for me. So I like to put my sunscreen on.
That is interesting to know. I knew she had some medical issues, but I never really knew exactly what it was. So that is just interesting to learn about her. I have tried the Drunk Elephant sunscreen. I actually really do not like it, especially over the years as I've tried more and more sunscreen. I've just grown to really not like it. So I'm going to use the Laura Mercier SPF 30 sunscreen. This feels more like what I had wished the Drunk Elephant stuff would look like. This one's almost gone, which is good because I feel like we're nearing like the expiration date for it. So I'm like, I need to use it up. I'm planning on being a little bit in the sun today, even though it's chilly out. It's just good to have sunscreen on. I always feel like instantly once I have like moisturizer and sunscreen on my face, I feel like, okay, my skin is happy. Let's continue. I feel like she doesn't use a lot of sunscreen.
When you are taking care of your skin, you're taking care of your body and your mind and soul, just because I think it's all connected. So I notice when I get stressed or something, I tend to break out more, or I get lazy with my routine. So I feel like it's become just a part of it, and I just deal with whatever I got that day. Next, I'm gonna be using my weightless foundation. So I kind of just start by making dots along my face. My applicator kind of tends to, it'll follow wherever you put it. And then blend that in.
Okay, couple things. I had to rebuy this. I'm pretty sure I tried this years ago when it first launched and I wasn't a fan, but I do remember back then feeling like I couldn't quite figure out the best way to use it. Like every time I used it, I was like, I don't know. I'm curious to try it again. So I bought the shade 160C because I remember the couple shades I had, I felt like were too light. So I went a little bit darker to see if I like it better. I thought it was interesting that she uses that sponge, and I think that's a Rare Beauty sponge. Oh, this still feels, well, it might be a good shade. It looks like it's dry. It's hard to tell, but I also found it interesting regardless that she used that sponge, and instead of tapping it in like a lot of people do, she like spread it, like she rubbed it. That's not the right word. Like pulled it with her sponge. That was, I feel like I haven't seen people do that. So I've just got my normal sponge I use daily, but instead of tapping it, we're gonna pull it. Maybe that's the key. Maybe if it was dry, I don't feel like it's got a ton of coverage this way. And I tried to, I mean, my sponge is damp, but I definitely like wrung it out where it doesn't really feel super wet at all. What do you guys think? I don't think it like looks bad. I just don't feel like it added a lot of coverage. So let's put on a little bit more because I actually want to know how I feel about this foundation. The one thing, I mean, definitely doing it that way, it does feel weightless, but because we were pulling it, I've got pilling of like the sunscreen and moisturizer. Do you see that? So I think I'm just gonna kind of tap it in this time just because I do want to see how I feel about the actual product itself, you know? The one thing that I could see if I really liked this and like used this product up, it would drive me nuts that I would feel like I can never get all of it out of there just based on the packaging. It's definitely allowing for more coverage this way, which is no surprise really, but I'm curious to try that sponge. Again, I don't think they even linked it. She doesn't mention what it is. It kind of looks familiar. Maybe it was one of her products, I'm not sure. So I definitely still feel like this is a little too light for me, but that's okay. It looks better than I remember. I definitely don't understand how she was able to pull that. Maybe that's why she did such a thin layer of her moisturizer and a very thin layer of her sunscreen, because if she had done thicker layers like I did, I mean, it's pill up city, which I have to assume is the sunscreen because I've not typically had that issue with the Tatcha.
Make sure that even in between, if you have a tan or if you're checking something, I always kind of go in here every now and then because I get spray tans. Next would be my weightless concealer. I change color all the time, so for instance, I'm going to use both colors, a little lighter and a little darker. I think growing up, I for sure felt like makeup was a part of my world. And, you know, being in different facets of the industry, it's been really fun to play with it because it makes a character when you're on set. It creates something magical when you're in, you know, music. You can create stories with it, and then...
I love the idea of that, that your makeup can really, like, change. If you're acting, for example, it kind of changes how you might feel. You might feel more confident in that character if they have a certain makeup style. So I bought a new shade. I bought the shade 150C, but I also have 140C. Again, I was hoping these would be a little bit darker. I feel like these all run really light. We'll see. But I really don't remember how I felt about this product. Again, I think there was a reason I didn't like feel this need to use it a lot, but we're gonna try it again. This time she used one of her Rare Beauty brushes. So I actually just filmed, I had to pull this out of my declutter pile. I got rid of a bunch of my makeup brushes, and this was one that I got rid of just because I mean, if you've seen the video, I explained it all. But anyway, it's not a bad brush. I just didn't use it a lot, but I'm pretty sure this is the one she's using. So I just pulled it out. I'm like, oh my gosh. So clutch timing. We are gonna give this a whirl. Pretty sure this is the brush she was using. Feels a little bit rough, to be honest with you, especially for use on the under eye. Definitely brightened though. Yeah, the bristles just feel a little bit rough. Again, still not a great shade match. I guess that's on me doing my best online, you know, to see. I typically do the same thing she does where I use a sponge for my foundation and a brush for concealer. But now I'm remembering this brush really it doesn't feel good in that area. Another one I do have is this one from Rare Beauty that I think now is meant for concealer, and I think it was launched probably after that, but it's much smaller and it feels much softer. So just something to be aware of.
So next, these are my liquid blushes. Oh, by the way, this is my favorite. It's called Joy. So I'm usually putting my blush towards the top of my cheeks. Hung taught me that because it just kind of lifts your cheekbone a bit, and it also doesn't kind of come in here and make you look all red and sunburned. At least that's what I told me. I was heavily involved in the entire process because I also care so much about mental health, and I believe it's a part of your self-esteem. It's a part of how you see yourself, and you shouldn't have to have makeup for you to see yourself that way, but makeup isn't a joke. It's actually beautiful and it's wonderful, and it brings people together, and I have so much respect for that community because it's just, it really is art.
So, I have the shade Joy. I don't think I've ever actually used this. If I had a favorite shade, I'm going to use this just in honor of using what she used because I want to try it. But my favorite shades are Bliss for sure, and Courage is a little bit, it's like the perfect winter shade. I'll swatch these just because they really are so pretty. You would buy this and like never need to buy it again. Like a little bit goes such a long way. Like you're never going to use it up. These are definitely two of my favorites. Like I said, a very little bit goes a long way. So I probably should have gotten a better swatch. But Bliss is one of those, like, you don't really have to think about it. It's really easy if you're near my skin tone. And Courage is so freaking pretty. It actually is like almost the exact shade as my nail polish. Which, by the way, this nail color, I know I'm going to be asked. It's an OPI dipped powder, but they have it like in their normal polish. It's called Just Lanaying Around. I'll try to link it. Okay, so we're gonna try it. She used her sponge, but she just did. This is the shade Joy. We're gonna do it a little bit higher up, like she said. Just see what happens. I feel like in other videos where I've seen her use these, I've seen her do it with, do it with her finger. So it was interesting to see her do it with a brush here. I just don't think this is like the shade for me. I don't think it looks bad at all. A, I think they're easier to work with your fingers. And B, for me, that shade, I think I could have gotten away with, because I am fairer than her, I would think maybe just one of these. And instead of just tapping it onto I think I'd rather have it on my finger and tap it around versus like plopping it on my cheek. But yeah, this is not a shade I would feel the need to like keep and use. But I could see where if you're a little bit deeper than me, you might really like it. And regarding what she said about like makeup and confidence, one thing, I feel like I could do a whole video talking about this, but one thing I've learned is I really used to lean heavily into like, I didn't want to leave the house if I wasn't wearing makeup. Like I would feel so, or even if like someone was coming to work on the house and I didn't have makeup on, I would feel so self-conscious. And it's taken me years to kind of break free of that and feel comfortable exactly as I am. Like I used to not like being on camera without makeup, and now, oh my gosh, I'm always on camera without makeup, especially like if you've seen my vlogs. But it's taken me years to get to that point where, you know, I really had it in my mind that the only way to be pretty was to wear makeup. So I feel like I'm saying the opposite of what she's saying, and that's not really my point. But my point is, you know, makeup is there for you if you really do feel that you need that for confidence. And I definitely feel more confident when I have makeup on. Like I 100% understand what she's saying. And especially if you feel like you have things on your face you're self-conscious about and makeup makes you feel more confident, I think that's awesome. And why not? What an awesome, fun, beautiful tool to have in our world that we can use how we want and when we want. And there really are no rules, and I think that's fun too. People will tell you there's rules, but there are no rules.
I'm going to use the Benefit Hola bronzer, and I kind of dust this a little bit around. I kind of want to see color.
Ooh, yeah, the Hoola can be really pigmented.
I kind of do what most people do, and I kind of follow into this 3, and then I do under the chin and around it.
All right, so we're gonna do that. I do have the Hoola bronzer. I have had this mini one for a little bit. This is one that, you know, years and years ago when this was so popular, I mean, it's still really popular now, but it was kind of one of those products that I would use wildly and be like, oh, it's too much, like it's too, now I know you really need a light hand with it. You don't need a lot because a lot of other bronzers are a little easier to work with. So we're gonna kind of do how she did. And I also, like, this is the standard Hoola color. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's really hard to do without a mirror, you guys. I need to like buy, because I film in here enough that it, like if I'm not at the workspace, I need to buy a mirror that like is like on a stand. Maybe I should ask for that for Christmas. Pretty sure it would be a work expense, Jess. Just buy it. Anyway, but it is a good bronzer. I feel like once you've got it the way you want it, it will stay on. You know what I mean? Like it's not one that's gonna budge a lot, which I really appreciate. I think she might have called it the Hola bronzer though, like Hola, which made me giggle. I can't tell though. I've rewatched it a few times and I'm like, I can't tell if she's saying Hola or she's just saying Hoola differently, but it makes me smile. I always wonder, she mentioned she gets spray tanned, and I'm sure that's what most celebrities do, but it's just interesting to hear them say it. I don't know why that was interesting to me, But of course, that's what they're doing. And we know they're not in a tanning bed, but I always wonder, like, well, do they self-tan? I'm like, well, probably for, like, big events, they would get spray tan. So, I don't know. It was just interesting to hear.
I'm going to use this Marc Jacobs palette. And
I don't think that this palette is made anymore.
Trick that I've learned, because eyeshadow tends to be, like, kind of tricky for me. Oh, I don't know where my brush. Got it. So, I'm going to start with a little bit of the kind of nudish color. And I'm gonna go along the edge. You could also use concealer before you put on eyeshadow to give it more of a lasting effect. Yeah.
I really don't think that palette is being made anymore. I grabbed these e.l.f. ones I love because the kind of, I don't remember what she called it, like kind of nudish shade looks similar to this one. I'm gonna try that in this little technique I just find so interesting because, you know, eyeshadow in the end, a lot of times, no matter how you apply it, ends up looking similar unless you're doing very specific looks like a cut crease and this, that, and the other. But I'm always interested in, you know, little tips like this, like going along the lash line-ish and then kind of taking it up in the crease. I don't think that this color is as pigmented as the one she was using, but I like the idea of this, especially for like a really quick look, you know what I mean? This, by the way, is the I Love You a Latte little e.l.f. quad. It's all matte. It's just an awesome palette to have because it has so many colors you might reach for on a daily basis, I guess depending on your taste.
And it has more of a lighter color, so I'm gonna use the middle area. What I'm showing you is how I'm going to be using this look in every single step I take. You can kind of just stop here, you could stop where I was, but this is kind of me transitioning into night. Okay.
So she takes more of a shimmery shade and does it more on the inner, which is a lot of times what I do. So this is the e.l.f. Quad and Cream and Sugar. I love this one. And I'm gonna kind of grab, it looks like it's kind of, I'm gonna kind of mix these two. Well, I guess I should do it on a brush like she did, huh? Maybe I'll go more on the bronzy, but get a little bit of the other. The Marc Jacobs palette she's using, I remember that palette. Like, I don't remember that exact colorway, but I remember those. I had one or two that I really, really liked. I feel like I need to blend just a little bit of the upper area. I'm always interested in the order people do their makeup too, because odd to me that I haven't done my brows yet. Like, I'm used to having my brows done before I even start on my eyes, so that's always something that's interesting. I am gonna dip back in and get a little bit, because I feel like hers was a little more pigmented. Get more of that kind of light brown shade. Looks nice. And of course she's got lashes on, she'll talk about in a bit. So she it already looks so nice, even though she hasn't done any like liner or mascara or anything. Brows, finally.
Brush them out a little.
And this is her Rare Beauty brow gel.
My next favorite process is my liquid liner.
All right, so brow wise, I wonder, it was odd to me that they didn't mention the brow product. They showed it but didn't mention. I'm like, I wonder if it wasn't launched yet, but maybe it was because they do have it linked. So this is called her Brow Harmony. It's a duo. So there's a pencil on one side and then a like brow gel pomade on the other. I love the idea of this. And it looks like she only uses the brow pomade part. So, which honestly works out because that's pretty much the way I typically do my brows too. So brush through them the way she did. Hopefully I have the shade Cool Brown. Hopefully this is an okay match for me. Gosh, there's a lot comes out. I may have to brush through that. I've used this a couple times before and this has always been my experience. Like it's almost too much product comes out. So I always have to do like cleanup, whereas if I use a product like the e.l.f. Wow Brow or the Essence one, it's even cheaper. Yeah, that's like so dark. I'm trying to get them to like look more even. I feel like this one over here is like darker. All right, well, sisters not twins, that's okay. So we're diving into liquid liner, and this is one of my favorite products from Rare Beauty.
I love this. This is something I wanted to be perfect because liquid liner can be such a nightmare and it can be really hard. Here we go. I have tried to do the like cat liner thing probably since I was 16. So one trick that did stick with me, and sometimes it works, but most of the time, you know, I'm just figuring it out as I go, is to basically start, if If you're looking straight in the mirror, start where your eye,
I'm nervous
where
for her.
your eye kind of looks directly straight. Does that make sense? And then I go underneath it to create the line that I want. So I wear my liner like this, but again, we're going gradually into day and night.
Okay, so this I've owned before, and the one big gripe I had with it was that it, like the one I had, like exploded. I ended up getting like black ink everywhere, but I really did like it, so I cleaned it up and kept using it. Well, I have it again. This is a set where it comes with their Perfect Strokes mascara and then the liner. I love this liner, like I said. So the brush is just so unique. It feels more like a calligraphy pen. I'm excited to have a fresh one of these. It really does look like a calligraphy pen, and you can see, I promise it's blacker than that. I just want to like draw with it all day, you know? So it can get nice and black. I don't think this is the blackest liner you will ever see, but it's a really nice one. And I'm trying to like rub it off and it ain't going anywhere. So that is one nice thing. So we're gonna try her little trick. Wish me luck. How did she do this? Did she go from here, go straight out, and then connect it? That's what we're gonna try. I have a little thing I can use to clean up if we need, because it looks like we're gonna need cleanup on aisle 9. I feel like it needs to go up farther. I'm used to doing it the way I just normally do it, and so like second guessing my normal routine is confusing me, you know what I mean? They're certainly not sisters, so she ends up making it even thicker. This is a mess, you guys. All right, I cleaned it up as best I could. Honestly, I mean, I know how I use this, and it usually is never an issue. It's just trying to, like, I need to have a thing and like kind of stretch it out and like have both hands. So anyway, I went to my little mirror there and was able to, I think, make it look a lot better. It ain't perfect, but it's better. So really do love this liquid liner. Let's move on.
Next, I'll probably be doing my luminizer. I'll put it on little areas around my neck or my shoulders, whatever I want to feel like shiny and cute. I'm gonna go.
She puts a lot on. All right, so luminizer wise, I do like this product. I have the shade Enchant, which is definitely lighter than what she's using there, but it seems like she puts a lot of this on, you know what I mean? She does not play around with how much she puts on. Does she put any on her forehead? And again, she uses a larger brush than I would have guessed, so I guess I'll go in with same said brush and just kind of blend it the way she did. So that blended in pretty easily, actually. I usually with products like that use my finger, but that actually blended in really quickly with a brush, and it doesn't look like weird. It looks really nice. So that might be something I actually start incorporating into my own life, is using a brush for a liquid highlight versus my finger or a sponge. So that looks nice.
You see the lighter, you see the blush, and now I do a last look thing, which is so LA. Last looks.
I've never heard of that.
This is just to ensure that everything that I just did.
So I kind of doing the last look. I don't really feel like I guess I could use maybe a little bit more concealer. Just wish this was a little bit darker. Honestly, no, I don't want to put any more on because I kind of like the way the highlight's looking. And I don't really want to mess with it. But that was an interesting move. Now I feel like in honor of the video, I should try it. Okay, fine, I'll try it. Jessica, the whole point of doing this video is trying new things. You ding dong. All right. I still feel like this is a little too much. I'm going to use a sponge, however, for this. The one nice thing about doing this, and I've never really thought about doing this, like putting on more concealer after you have done like highlight and stuff, is it kind of makes it melt together a little bit more, so it doesn't look like a bunch of separate pieces of makeup. Do you know what I mean? It definitely looks nice and bright. Glad I tried it. You guys convinced me.
My Blot and Glow touch-up kit.
This here.
This is the sheet. You pull out, and you can go over, and then take this. You could also bend this brush if you want to go into precise areas. Perfect.
So the one thing that I do think is kind of cool about this, I'm not sure that I necessarily feel like I need a blot, but I will just for the sake of the video, It really is kind of a cool idea if you are someone that feels like you need to blot throughout the day or you want to powder throughout the day, because it's got a mirror, but it has the blotting sheet and then the powder is built into this powder puff. I think that's pretty cool. So let's do the blotting. I could not tell you the last time I used a blotting sheet. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then, yeah, there's definitely powder in there. Just kind of set that area. Nice. Again, this is not the kind of product I use all the time, but like I said, if you're someone that would, it's a really cool idea. And it's pretty. All the packaging of your stuff is always pretty.
Now, I have lashes on. So when I want to have more of a look, I would go for Huda Beauty lashes.
Got it.
So I will just probably put on a little bit.
All right, so I've got this. I just bought like the smaller size. I've never tried this. The Huda Beauty, You Deserve the Best Lashes. I got the Extreme Black. So is it 2 sides? Okay. Oh, it's called the Legit Lashes. So there's 2 different sizes, and it looks like one of them is for volume and then the other is for curl and length. So I'm assuming that one is the volume side and then this one is the curl and length. So we're gonna do the volume side just for funsies. I've been dying to do the mascara part, so I'm excited. And I've certainly never tried this mascara. I could see where this might be a nice mascara to put on like with lashes, because the rubbery bristles really feel like it's brushing through, and I feel like it would lend itself well to like using on your lashes mixed with fake lashes, you know? That looks really nice. I don't always love rubber bristle mascaras, but like that pretty quickly built itself up. She does something similar to me where she doesn't really put anything on her lower lash line. That's kind of been my MO for a while now too. I don't know, I just feel like sometimes with my eye shape, I don't really know what it is. I think I look a little more youthful without anything on my lower lash line. I don't know if it's true or not. It's just kind of how I feel, and I tend to like the way I look better than when I do have a bunch of mascara and stuff on my lower lash line. But I do think that is such a personal thing. Like, some people look so much better with something on the lower lash line, so it's just kind of funny. I still have all of this on my hand. So I want to try the curl side too, just for funsies, just to kind of see if it adds any. Now I can't remember which side is which. Oh, it says it on the bottom. Oh, Jessie. Okay, so here's the curl side. I feel like it already curled pretty well though. I think that looks really, really nice. So we're moving on to lips. I'm very excited for this part.
The lip soufflés are so yummy. They are so smooth. So normally is my signature red. I'm showing you this other color because for Blackpink, in the music video we did, I got to use this. Okay, watch this part. It's heaven.
So the one thing I remember about these lip soufflés, she didn't say what shades. I wonder if there's any comments, because it's not in the description either. Okay, I can't tell. But anyway, God, my goodness. I'm reading through the comments and everyone's like, why is everyone, you know, making fun of her for the eyeliner not being perfect? And I'm like, gosh, people are mean. Like, who cares, you know? Like, okay. So I could not really tell what color she was using. I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I want to use this color Ascend because it looks like it'd be really nice with my shirt here. But these are very like soft and kind of creamy and very moussey. Like souffle is the perfect word for it. Let's just give her a go. Like if you're someone that likes that kind of blotted lip, you can totally get that with this, with the thin layer, but you can also kind of build it up if you want to. The one thing I have to hand this formula is that it is very comfy. Very comfortable. I need to tell my friend about this. We were just talking about formulas that are more comfortable, and I think she would really like this. So if you're someone that you've always felt like the liquid lip type products are too drying, this is gonna be one you love because it's not exactly the same. Like, I do think it lasts a long time, but there's a chance it might smudge a little bit more like a normal lipstick. But for something this bright to look, I think, so smooth and nice, I have more lined lips, and this I don't think emphasizes that. So I'm starting to learn to appreciate this a bit more. I feel like I kind of wrote this off. I should rewatch how I felt about it in an original video. I remember being like, but now trying it again, especially this pink shade, I'm really digging, and I've been looking for a better pink color that's honestly just like this, more rosy, and this looks really pretty. So this is the shade Ascend. I don't remember if I said that. It's just so soft.
Final step is to do a little bit of this. So this is my refresher spray, and you can use it before you put on makeup, after, during the day. It has this refreshing scent. Shake.
I feel like a lot of that missed her face. So we're gonna give it a whirl. I've tried this. I just am not huge on setting spray, but the mister on this is amazing. Not sure how much of a difference it makes, but it does have kind of a nice like spa scent. It's very light though. It's not super like wildly in your face, but it is kind of nice. I could see that being nice, especially like midday. If you had a lot of like heavier makeup on, this might be really nice.
I feel like makeup should be accessories to complement what's beautiful about you. And I think I always believe that, because you can't help but feel the pressure and feel like you have to look a certain way, or, oh, if I only did this or only looked like that, it would work. But I don't know. I just think that you're special. You're supposed to be who you are. And I've met like thousands of people in my life. And I wish that they could see what I see when I see them, you know? So.
Okay, that like actually got me emotional when I was first watching this. I wish, like talking about people in her life, I wish that they could see what I see when I see them. What a lovely message. It gives me the goosebumps, like genuinely, because, you know, think about people in your life that you just find so beautiful. And I don't mean just like physically maybe, but just kind-hearted, just like, you know, those kinds of people in your life, and you know, some of the time they're down on themselves about this, that, or the other. And it's like, man, if they could only see genuinely the way I see them or the way other people see them, how would that make them feel? And I just love the idea of that, because like she said, you do feel those pressures. And I can only imagine being like a huge celebrity like Selena Gomez, the amount of pressure and that she's under to always look perfect or to be a certain way, act a certain way, look a certain way. I love that message. So I am pretty happy with the makeup look. Like, one thing I know for sure, without a doubt, I'm going to take away from this and continue using is, and I know it's so simple, but I just like the switch up of it, of taking an eyeshadow and doing it like on the lash line, just real messily, and then into the crease. I always just cover the whole lid, and then, but I like the idea of kind of being a little more choosy about where you're putting it, but still being like quick and sloppy, like quick and dirty about it. I don't know what it was about that, but I just liked it. I also am excited to try the lip soufflé more often, because I really do feel like I wrote it off too soon when I initially tried it, and I'm really liking the way this looks and feels. And then I'm also excited to try the highlighter some more, and using just any old brush for your liquid highlight, I feel like looks so pretty, and I feel like that looks so nice on the skin. You know what I mean? It just blended it in really easily. Also, I did forget to mention another shade of the blush that I like is the shade Hope. This is the one I've used the most, and I was thinking it was Bliss, but as I looked at it more, I'm like, no, this is the one that's my favorite shade out of all of them, if you're near my skin tone. So just if you were curious. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the style of video. Like I said, I have a whole playlist of these if you want to watch some more of them. Some of them I'm focusing more on like the techniques of what they're trying. Some of them it's products. And I know I did one or two of them where instead of the high-end things they were using, I found drugstore dupes and used those alongside them just to kind of show an alternative. So definitely check those out. I would love if you subscribe, join our little family. I upload multiple times a week. I'd love to have you join us and watch some more of my videos. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.